G'day all and welcome back to Freo Faithful today for the Thursday team announcements for tomorrow's Friday night game against Adelaide on Anzac Day. I hope you're all well. Very interesting teams and teams I'm happy with, to be honest. And I think a lot of you guys will be happy with them as well. Thank you all for joining me. Let's get on to the teams straight away. Here they are. I think you should be able to see them. There you go. All right. I haven't seen the changes yet, but you want Brody in for John and a goalpost in for Darcy. Well, Brody's injured and he's not very good. Injury is a fact. Him not being very good is my opinion. And a goalpost in for Darcy. Well, let's just calm down the whole Darcy thing. So glad you guys made this channel in South Korea for 2 weeks. No KO, no footy, but you lot will give me a breakdown. Well, happy to provide that for you, mate. Have fun in South Korea. I'm not sure where you are. I've heard Seoul's a nice place. Sounds good. Good changes. Yeah, I'd agree. Stu. So here they are. So James Aish omitted, who was a late in for Chapman last week anyway, and that's just the like for like. Chapman comes back in. Jager is out injured. And Wagner I'm going to assume he's in. And Banfield has been omitted. And a very similar player to Banfield. He's shorter than Banfield. I'm not sure what the height difference is. Banfield is 190. Sparkle's 182. They're similar players, but there's a fair height difference. Narkle is in for his Dockers debut. So Banfield can sort of rotate forward, but he plays quite a bit of wing as well, and can sometimes rotate into that halfback area. That's sort of what Quinton Narkle's going to do. He racked up 37 disposals for Peel Thunder on the weekend. And, it must have been a good 37 disposals. I didn't watch the Peel game, but it must have been a good 37 touches to be injected straight into the team. I'm happy JL's finally decided to drop Banners. I'm a fan of Banners. I think, he always wears his heart on his sleeve and he's a great servant to the club, but he cannot be in our team. He's not good enough. Jager did his, hammy and foot in the one incident, which is stiff. And Aishi, I've always liked Aishi. He didn't do anything particularly wrong last week, but Chapman's a better player. For the Adelaide Crows, Darcy Fogarty is out. That's the big one. So we spoke about during the week that the two that were under an injury cloud were Fogarty and Rochelle. Rochelle's been out since round 3 with broken ribs. Fogarty had 2 different incidents in the Giants game last week. So Fogarty didn't get up. Rochelle has gone up. So he's back, which is a big in. And James Peatling's also back from suspension, which will really add to that Adelaide midfield mix. And Sam Berry has been omitted. So here are the teams. The bench is interesting for us because that's where we pick our sub from. And we've got Chapman, Narkle, Warner, Dudley, Reed there. Dudley has already been confirmed as not being the sub. So we can thankfully rule Dudley out of the sub best. Chapman won't be sub, although we've seen it before. Murphy Reed, I don't think he'll be sub, but look, it would be a weird game to manage a player. It would be a really odd game to manage someone, which is why I don't think Reed will be sub. It's probably between Narkle and Warner, unfortunately. And because we've got Chapman as the defensive rotation, and because Narkle's sort of coming in for Banfield, who hasn't been in the vest, I'm leaning towards Carl Warner, probably being the sub, despite having a good game last week. But that is the team. Oscar McDonald's been named on field in the full forward line. So there you go. So glad Dudley's still there. Yeah, Andy won't be sub, which is just a bonus. Hey, Ben. Narkle, Sparkle, Narkle, whatever way it is. As I've been expecting a few changes to the team since Melbourne, we would need to have at least O'Meara will be out for 3 weeks. Max, Aish and Banfield always going to get dropped. Yeah, I think I said on the pod during the week that the 3 changes that I wanted were Aish, O'Meara, Banfield out, which I got. And I did say Wagner and Chapman, but I said Erasmus instead of Narkle. Narkle's definitely more luck for luck than Banfield. I just didn't think JL would actually go in the Narkle direction. So I'm happy he has. Don't get me wrong. I've heard Narkle's name so much. Can't wait for him and Reed to fight over Rising Star. Well, look, Quinton Narkle cannot be Rising Star. He's about... I think Quinton Narkle's about 28. And he's played for 2 clubs before this. Yeah, Quinton Narkle is 23 years of age. He's played 41 times for Geelong and 16 times for Port. I'd be very surprised if a man who debuted 8 years ago wins the Rising Star. But hey, we can dream. Murphy Reid won't be sub. Murphy shouldn't be sub, but I'm just wondering, do we manage him at some point? Because I remember last year we managed Fifey in the Richmond game as sub, coming off a really good game. And teams have been managing rookies just around the league. So yeah, I'm not sure. Murphy could be sub. I don't think he will be. I would agree with you. We just lacked the intensity last week against Melbourne. Yeah, it's as simple as that, really. So this doesn't really change anything. We're going to need to find a matchup for a Shelley. So the Rankin one, I think Chapman will take a Rankin. I think when Rankin goes into the midfield, he might rotate onto Rochelle. And apart from that, maybe Draper takes Rochelle. Rochelle is 180, so he's quite small. He's taller than Cozzy Pickett, who Draper got burnt by last week, and he's not as quick as Cozzy Pickett, but he's very crafty. And I remember Rochelle's debut in 2022 at the Adelaide Oval. It was the Chapman spoil game, and I think he kicked 5. He was unbelievable. So yeah, he's torn us to shreds before, and he'll certainly threaten to do it again. This is a great video to have playing whilst doing my brain-destroying law assignment. Good luck. That sounds horrific. Could last week be Banner's last ever game? No, I reckon we'll see Banners again this year. Unfortunately, and I don't want to target players really, but as I already said, Banfield. I've been in the Bailey Banfield fan club ever since he's been at the club. I've always been a good admirer and fan, and a lover when some people haven't of Bailey Banfield. But his time is up. We can't keep rolling around with Banners, unfortunately. Surely we get more tackles inside 50 with like 4 premium tackling small forwards. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not sure how much forward Narkle will play, but if he does, I doubt all of these guys will be on the field at the same time. But I get what you're saying. Frederick, Switkowski, Bolton, Narkle, Dudley. Yeah. I think Narkle and Warner. I don't think Narkle will be sub. I think Warner will be sub. Just looking at that. Can't see Banfield in this team anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, it's weird. I don't even know what role Banners has been playing, really, because he hasn't been playing a lot in the front half. Who will play sub and who is Will Brody? I don't know who Will Brody is. Who will play sub? Yeah, I've already said that. I think he'll be Carl Warner. That's just based off... My thought process is Dudley's already been confirmed to not be sub. Chapman is our defensive rotation. I mean, and Chapman's also got to go to Rankin, but we've seen crazier things. And then Narkle is like for Banfield, and Banfield hasn't been in the vest. So technically, it probably leaves either Murphy Reid or Carl Warner, but Murphy Reid sort of allows us to roll an extra guy through the midfield, like Shea Bolton. So it won't be Murphy. So I think it'll be Carl Warner as sub. How is doubly confirmed not sub? Lockie Reid tweeted it earlier today. He confirmed it, which is good. Cox and Rochelle, Pearson Walker, and Ryan O'Neill Bullen. Pearson Walker. I had a heart attack. I thought Pearson Brandon Walker for a second. I'm like, God, don't do that. Pearson Walker, Ryan O'Neill Bullen. Yeah, I forgot about Neil Bullen. He's a crafty little man. Cox and Rochelle. So Chapman's obviously going to take Rankin. I think when Rankin pushes into the middle, Chapman will rotate onto Rochelle. But when they're both in the same forward line, I think Cox... I'd still rather see like Clark take Rochelle. I think Clark last week against Melbourne was really defensively solid. I thought he had his best game of the season. So I would sort of like to see Clark take on a bit more defensive responsibility. Like, I get he's a really good offensive sort of quarterback and ball user. But I'd like to see Geordie take on a bit more responsibility of an actual matchup. Brody 2025. Yeah, indeed. Warner was sub in the Dogs game. Yeah, I think it's likely Carl Warner will be sub. But it could really... Chapman's the only one you wouldn't put in there, really. Omax on field. I mean, he was never going to be sub anyway. I'm interested to see how Omac will do this week. I mean, you look at the Adelaide midfield, you've got so many names that run through there. O'Brien, Saligo, Crouch, Dawson, Cumming, Keys, Rankin, Rochelle. These guys all get midfield minutes at times. James Peatling, Zach Taylor, Sid Draper. Like, these guys all get midfield minutes. They've got such a deep rotation. Probably the deepest midfield rotation in the league in terms of the amount of numbers that roll through there. So, yeah, we're going to have to be on top of that. Certainly, yeah. Am I going to the game? I am going to the game. Is anyone else here going to the game? I'm going to assume out of the 29 people that there'll be a fair chunk going to the game. If we sub Reed, this club just doesn't know who to sub, like does for 2 weeks, and our best ball user inside. If we sub Reed, it will be purely a management decision. And I'm not against managing rookies because I think burning down, you see it a lot in soccer and you see it a lot in basketball where young players get burnt out so early in their career and the rest of it is just ruined. You can borderline say the same happens like a guy like Sam Walsh. Like, Sam Walsh is still a brilliant player, but the amount of injury issues he's had because he had to play so much of a big role for Carlton early in his career. I think managing young players is a really important thing. So if we do end up giving Murph the vest, I won't be opposed to it. I think he'll get it at some point this season. But it won't be this week, I don't think. It makes no sense with the sort of team we're going up against. And especially having, as I just said, that Adelaide midfield rotation is so deep. Having Murphy Regan there allows us to push so many guys through there. Bolton, Johnson, Young, Sarong, Brayshaw, John. Yeah, that's basically how it goes. I'd love to see Chappie get some midfield minutes at some point, but I don't think it will happen this game with the responsibility he'll have with Adelaide's forwards. If we I've already read that. Yeah, right. Let's take a look at so as I was saying, so their midfield mix is unbelievable, very deep. Their forward mix is fantastic, very deep. Sorry, Saligo. Oh, I've already mentioned him. Yeah, the forward mix is very deep, and very good. Their backline is the weakness. We need to stretch that backline. So all of these guys are solid without being superstars. Miller, Keane, Michelani, Worrell, Murray, Laird, and Hinge. And I'm not sure if Dan Kernan will play back. Laird is a star, but not former star. Good in terms of his positioning and the way he reads the game, but a bit slow. And none of these guys, like Nick Murray is a solid defender. Worrell, Miller, Keane, Michelani are all just solid defenders. Michelani actually kept Toby Green to a goalless game last week, so I'm going to assume he gets the matchup of Bolton. So we're going to have to keep a lookout for Max Michelani and keeping Shea Bolton in the game. So yeah, they're all solid, but we can stretch them. So Tracy had a quiet week last week. We need to stretch with him. Giannis, same with him. He didn't have a quiet week, but we needed to fire on the same week as Tracy. Like, if we have both of those guys firing, especially without Voss and Jackson, like having McDonald as the third tall, like, yes, Omac might pop up for a goal or two, but he's really just there to compete and still probably just chop out in the ruck. Maybe Omac plays a bit more back when like a guy like Draper chops out in the ruck, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think Omac would probably just chop out in the ruck again. And here's Ben with the Omac question. Thoughts on Omac being a forward ruck? I feel like playing a bit smaller is less risky. Yeah, it's certainly less risky. Adelaide's backline's quite tall. I mean, not necessarily, actually. Michelani, Laird, Miller. I was looking at Worrell, Murray, Keane. But maybe it's not. Yeah, interesting. I think Omac competed as well as he could have in the ruck last week. Like, playing against Max Gorn is always going to be a steep task. Yeah, I'm okay with Omac. He's the best option we've got, and Jackson's back next week. So if all goes to plan, this will be Omac's last game in the team, and Dogger comes back next week for St Kilda. Yeah, Amos has to play 4 quarters. Tracy has to play 4 quarters. We just need everyone to fire. Frederick kicked 6 and 2 before he went missing again last week. I want Switter to be hitting the scoreboard more. I thought Switter's pressure last week was immense, but we needed. I think we just need him to be, making a bit more scoreboard impact. And then Shay. you know what you get from Shea. It'll be interesting to see if Dudley not being sub is a reflection of him maybe being ready for 4 quarters, because the reason he's been sub, to everyone's frustration, including mine, but it's probably fair, is the fact that he probably wasn't fit enough, and that's just because he joined the club late as an SSP selection. Like, he officially joined the club on an AFL program the day of the Indigenous All-Stars game, which was a week before our Melbourne preseason game. So not far before the season started. So he was coming off a low base and just getting his fitness up to AFL standard. I think maybe that's, I just hope Dudley doesn't fade out of the game. Swinner never hits the scoreboard. It's something he can add to his game, though. That's the thing. But yeah, it's never really been something of Switter's sort of arsenal, eh? Switter and Freo score when it matters, not just against mediocre teams. Yeah, Freddie's the one where he had a great game against the Bulldogs, Freddie. That's really the only one I can think of. Just need his consistency to lock in. Sparkle Narkle, indeed. Very excited to see Narks. Do I go to every Docker game in WA? I do, indeed. We're going to wrap it up pretty soon. Get all of your final team thoughts in the chat. Again, Darcy's going to have a steep task in the ruck. Riley O'Brien is a big lump of a man. O'Brien's probably bigger than Darcy in terms of actual size. I'm not sure about the height. So Darcy's 203, O'Brien's 201. Interesting. It's gonna be a big battle between two big men. Free's gone missing every week this year. Well, that's just not true. He kicked 3 against the Bulldogs and 3 against Richmond. So he had 6 in 2 weeks, and I thought he played really well in both of those games. But he does go missing too often in other games where he just does. Like, you can have a good game without kicking a goal, and when he doesn't kick a goal, it feels like he doesn't have a good game, which is the annoying thing. You hope Reed and Dudley start. Love Duds. Yeah, they'll both start. Young seems to rest forward a bit much for my liking. Could he go halfback a bit more? Just seems to be more forward than mid. Yeah, I'd agree. I think Young resting forward is more due to his creativity forward of the ball when we sometimes lack it. But I do agree. I think his ball usage of halfback, if we're resting him forward, is completely wasted. His kicking ability, if we remember, we know how good a field kick he is. He was drafted as the best kick in his draft class. He is such a jet with his foot. I would like to see him be given more responsibility, maybe behind the ball as like a main catalyst to remain ball user. I don't know if you already spoke about it, but I'm quite happy with Banfield being drops. Yeah, we have spoken about it. Yeah, I'm happy too. Heart and soul, I'm a part of the Banfield fan club, but yeah, it's probably time for him to go, to be honest. Steve Lacey, FaZe Lacey, Josh Tracy, kicks 5. Need both Tracy and Amos to get fired up tomorrow night. Yeah, when was the last time they both actually fired? And by fired, I mean both had really good games. I cannot remember. So yeah, it would be ideal. A massive bump and lots of forward tackling. Oh yeah, just some intensity. I mean that forward. I did go through it, didn't I? I've still got the stats here. Actually, I've got my notes from the preview. Inside 50 tackles this season now losses. Sydney 9, Fremantle 9, Geelong 23, Fremantle 5, Melbourne 27, Fremantle 4. We're getting smashed by 20 in a couple of those games. That is unacceptable. No team gets smashed that much. Will Sarong get tagged? No, I want to say. The only guy that could maybe do a job on him would be James Peatling, but I don't think that'll be a hard tag. I hope not, at least. Yeah, I don't think it will be. Adelaide don't really tag. I'm a big fantasy player, so I'm all over the tags, all over the competition. And Adelaide aren't a team that tend to tag. So, yeah, Peatling might do a job. Dawson's sort of just going to roam free. I'm not even sure if Dawson's going to really have a defensive matchup, or will have a defensive matchup on him, but I'm not sure he'll really match up on any of our guys. He just sort of backs himself. I think Young has to go to Dawson. Sarong will have a mixed role and whoever rolls through there, but I think when Rankin goes in there, that'll be Sarong's job. So yeah, our guys will have to rotate around quite a bit. Rochelle or Cumming will probably get tagged. No, I doubt it. It's two of the last people I'd tag. Cumming plays out on the wing and doesn't get the ball that much. And Rochelle is going to play forward. So, nah, they won't get tagged. Cosy Shay Show 2026. I'm pretty keen for that. Pretty keen for that. Shay is heading up indeed. One thing we've lost is a super sub. 2022 Banners was sub every week, and I think that's his best year. Coming for a 30-minute burst. He had a really good sub year that year. Hey, we rotated through a few that year. I remember Banners was sub a bit. Travis Collier was sub for a bit that year. I think we rotated through a lot of guys that year. Yeah. Shame to see the seriousness of Fife and Walters' injuries. Could truly see the end of that Dockers era. I know it's sad, eh? It's the era that we've probably all most enjoyed, or most of the people in this chat, as Dockers fans. The Fife, Walters, early Ross Lyon era. That just sort of signified what it meant to be a Fremantle fan. Yeah. It would be sad. I hope we get to see them both down in the park this year. I think if Michael Walters, if he gets fit again, which won't be in long, I think he's only 3 weeks away. But yeah, I think he's only 2-3 weeks away. But that Melbourne game in the preseason, he played fantastically. Kicked 3 really good goals. So look, Sonny can still offer us something. Not sure about Fifey. I hope he does, but we've got so many midfield guys now. Like, yeah, we've just got so many options. Like, even Quinton Narkle coming in over Erasmus. Like, there are so many names we can roll through there now. I'm not sure if Fifey will get a game this year. I hope he does, but might be his last. I did see Chad Warner sign on. Good result for Freo, because if he went to WA this offseason, he was going to West Coast. There was no doubt about it. Him signing a 2-year extension, if he decides to leave at the end of that, then we don't know how our list position will be in 2 years. So it certainly puts us in a better position if we want to pursue him in 2 years. Because if he left this offseason, we would have nothing, because we'd be going for Cozzy, who'd definitely be priority. Quinton Narkle in Banfield drops. I'm going to see Narkle calm the Dockers. All out for Cozzy this offseason. No Chad. Yeah, exactly. That's all I want. I've always wanted to prioritize Cozzy over Chad. Let's hope for a fairy tale 5 finish. Yeah, I want to see him back out there. Can we bring Tendai Mzungu back? Fremantle legend. First grand final goal kicker. Always remember him as that. I can see Sonny playing but not Fifey. It's so sad. Fife's my favourite player. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I think Sonny will get back out there this season. He definitely has a role. If Sonny was fit, he would have played this week. Probably over Dudley, though. It's interesting, because Dudley would probably have to leave the team if Sonny comes back in, but Sonny's got a bit more polish about him. So, yeah, even though Dudley's quite a polished footballer for a guy who's only played 6 quarters or whatever. Fife needs to go out with a standing ovation. He 100% deserves, not out with an injury. 2 Brownlows, 16 years at Freo and Freo only. He is the best player in our history. It will be a sad day when he goes. We've spoken about Fifey retiring on the team stream for the past few weeks with these setbacks and whatever. It's sad. Yeah, I hope he just plays one last game. Grand final. Imagine. Also, Omac listed forward. Well, we knew it was going to happen. So, yeah, no real shocks for me. Bringing in Narkle's a bit of a weird one. It's like for Banfield, though, and Banfield has not been up to it. So, it's probably the right decision. Deadly is great. Dynasties. Gee, Dynastism is probably word of the year on this channel. We'll give 3 draft picks for Cozzy. Mate, I'll give 10. Give him like our first round pick for the next 10 years. Who cares? Could the team this week beat 2013 Freo? Well, if we're playing 2013 Freo with Ross Lyon as coach, no. Absolutely not. I think our list right now is better, but I just think Ross Lyon's, how he had that team playing was astounding. Chris Mayne, Matthew Pavlich firing in the forward line, Zach Clark rotating down there, Sandy in the ruck, whacking it down to Fifey, Mundy, Barlow. Come on. McFarlane, Duffield, Spur, locking down. Oh, come on. No chance. Hopefully Fife gets a farewell game like Pav. Yeah, Pav won that game too. That was actually the last game the Dogs lost before the flag. Yeah, I hope he does. But I hope we're also not as shit as we were in 2016 and we get to play Fifey in an important game. Because, yeah, I'm growing in belief that this is probably Fifey's last year. Give all our picks for Cozzy. Give the club for Cozzy. Or relocate for Cozzy. Don't think this team will be the grand final for our team. No, if we make the grand final, this will not be our team. I'm hoping. Freo Hub called the Narkle debut last week. Yeah. Few people have been calling for Quinton's debut. He had 37 touches for Peel. It makes sense. After seeing Cozzy Pickett live this weekend at the G, we need him. He's a gun and match winner. Oh, absolutely. He's a game changer. That's the way you describe it. It's just the sort of guy you want on your team, eh? He breaks games open. Game winner, as you just said. You're happy with Narkle and Simon. Ballers and Dawson. Oh, my God. Zach Dawson was a bit... Zach Dawson was all right. Solid servant. Ballard on the forward line, though. Crumming, Main, and Pav. Oh, my goodness. Mate. Don't get me excited. Jeffrey Farmer used to play for us before the switch to the Ds. I think it was the other way around. Or did he go Melbourne, Freo, Melbourne? I think that's what might have happened. Tommy Sherry. I was at that 2015 prelim. I actually played Oz kick at halftime in that 2015 prelim. Kicked a goal. And then we came out and shat the bed in the second half. So maybe I was the curse. Seeing Cozzy do what he did to us live at the G was a sight, mate. We need him there. We cannot let this opportunity of him wanting to come to the West slip. Is Quinton the sub? No, he is not. Or I don't know. He might be. Dudley confirmed not being the sub by Lockie Reed. Murphy Reed probably won't be. Chapman won't be. So it's between Narkle and Warner, but Narkle's like for Banfield, who hasn't been sub. I've explained it a few times, but that's just sort of my thought process. So it leaves me with Carl Warner as sub, I think. Farfy probably won't make his 250th. Oh, how many does he have left? How many has he played? 240. Oh, no way. Surely. Surely. If he doesn't, then that is just heartbreaking, really. I definitely don't want Cozzy. Bag attitude and very undisciplined. That's a very unpopular opinion, not wanting Cozzy. He would turn us into a premiership team. He just would. If we're not already with the right coach, Cozzy Pickett solidifies that. Like Shea Bolton and Cozzy Pickett in the same forward line as Josh Tracy, then just wraps. Like defenders are not sleeping the night before games. Need to give Cooper Simpson more games. Who does Simpson really come in for, though? Like, maybe he could have come in instead of Narkle, but not the end of the world. Yeah, exactly, mate. I'll take a 3-week suspension if he's winning big games for us. I have a good feeling about tomorrow night after losing last week and being Anzac Day. Should be a big crowd too. Yeah, there'll be 50K there tomorrow night. It'll be our biggest crowd so far this season. Yeah, very excited. Very excited. Anzac Day, Land Hall game. Arthur Leggett medal being presented. It's going to be very, very... this is my favourite game of the year. I love the whole Anzac ceremony and just the vibe around the game. Friday night, like this is a nationally broadcasted game as well. It's on Channel 7 all around Australia. It's a primetime Friday night game. And it's also 2 interstate teams, Friday night primetime, which is quite cool. Can't wait to have Jackson back after Anzac Day. Yeah, having Dogger back next week is going to be so good. What's he Bo play for us? Bo Allen? Oh, it's elite, isn't it? Anzac Day footy. Do we play on Friday at home each Anzac rounds? No, we actually don't usually play on Anzac Day. Last year we played on a Saturday night, and the Anzac Day was on Tuesday. So we don't usually play on Anzac Day. Only a few times we have. Of course, Simon knows. Lock it up. I have a good feeling after hearing about JL's spray training. I wonder if it's JL under pressure, or I wonder if JL was genuinely just like ripped into them. Like, I'm over the moon about it. Don't get me wrong. Actually hearing that JL has that in him. I've always known he's had it in him, but he's never really pulled it out of his sort of locker. So I'm happy he has, certainly. Cheers, Simon. Have a good one. Up the Dockers. Is it going to be a national anthem for New Zealand and Australia? I swear we had a New Zealand national anthem last year, so I reckon then we might. And the New Zealand national anthem absolutely slaps. Like, incredible national anthem. One of the best national anthems in the world. I love New Zealand's. I almost want to be Kiwi at times. It's so good. Jay will have that dog in him. He does. I remember our social team released a video of him a few years ago, just giving the most hype, motivational speech to our players at halftime or before a game, and it just made you want to run through a brick wall. So I've always known Jay has had it in him. We just don't really see it in the public eye, and I don't really care how he speaks to the media. As long as he speaks to the players with an intimidating attitude, yet it's still approachable, then that's all I want. Completely unrelated to Freo footy, but did you hear about Perth getting an NRL team, the Western Bears? I did hear about that. I couldn't really care less about the NRL. I watch about 4 games a year, but hey, I guess it's good. I doubt it will really take crowds away from Freo. Indian national anthem. Good national anthem, Indians. Indians. You're a Kiwi Freo fan. Hope they play it. New Zealand Anzac. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, got Kiwi in the chat. How good. The Greek national anthem. Never heard it. I love the Maori bit at the start. And then it goes into English. I think it's such a cool aspect of it. I didn't think the team stream would turn into national anthem debates. Don't like rugby much, but it's good for the state. What do the Bears have to do with WA? I don't know. It's not really a WA animal, is it? I think, yeah, it definitely will be good for the state. I think it's sort of a joint team with Sydney. I think it's like the Sydney-Perth Bears or something, North Sydney. So I think games will be split between New South Wales and WA. It'll be an interesting setup. I did see Jono and Vossi get stuck into each other. Bad look for our club culture, not at all. The best teams always have players getting stuck into each other at training. And I'm sure they went off the track and went and had lunch together and had a giggle. I'm sure they were fine. It's just the competitive nature on the field. I think it's great. Well, that's just it. Look, I don't want to offend any English people in chat. I am half English, but that's just a shit call. Best bloke at Freo. I don't know. I don't know any of them. I had a chat to Dudley for about 10 minutes on the hill last week at Gather Round, or the week before. So, yeah, I just had Dudley. Good fella. Russian and Italian goes hard. I'm going to go for the Bears. I don't have an NRL team. I might go to a few games. I just don't care. I couldn't care less. Like, I'm a Man United fan. I watch all of those games at all hours in the morning. And I'm a Freo fan. Yeah, and then seasonal sports come and go. Yeah, don't have the time for an NRL team, to be honest. Yeah, that's unreal. Alex Pearce, yeah, that's a good call. Alex Pearce probably is the best bloke at the club. Great values, great person, great captain, great speaker, great player. Yeah, all around. Do you reckon Jail's going to focus on being more aggressive against Adelaide as they're a very high-scoring team? Yeah, forward 50 pressure. I went through the tackle stats earlier and in the preview. Absolutely. We have to be because they've got so many speedy and live wire players. If our intensity is not up, then we will get sent to the Wolves. I'm not sure if it's the same franchise or not. I'm not going to know, franchise or club. If Lockie Neal was still a Docker, he'd be the best bloke, man. 3 times randomly in public, he's an all-time bloke. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me. He's always come across as a nice fella. I mean, Alex is so chill. He seems like a bloke that would always be up for a chat, Moose. I'm a big fan. Vossi seems like a top bloke. Yeah. You can't not love Vossi, eh? What a ripping fella he is. Good music taste. He signed my Tame Impala record. Oh, that is so good. Yeah, Moose is big into the indie stuff, which I am too. So, yeah, I'm a big... Moose just all around is just like a fucking legend. All right. We've been on for 40 minutes. We're going to wrap it up now. I hope to see or most of you, for the fan cams after tomorrow night's game. I'm not sure who'll be running it, either me or Drew's, but the fan cams will be on tomorrow night. It'll be a late one after the Friday night game. Hopefully, we will be yapping after a win, and hopefully we will be very, very happy after dominating the Crows. But big game tomorrow. Happy with the team. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the fan cams and for next week's team stream next Thursday. Cheers for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.